Get ready for the jaw-dropping moment when Gordon left everyone in the restaurant speechless. We've got a customer from season 7 who not only disliked the dish but also accused Chef Ramsey of something really insane. On the 8th day, Chef Ramsey was looking forward to a good service like he always does, but his expectations were destroyed when the very first order came through. While Jason Ellis served overcooked scallops, Jay Santos served undercooked ones along with risotto that wasn't seasoned right. Which reminds me, if there's anything that could instantly spoil my mood, it's tasteless food. And I'm sure Chef Ramsey feels the same. But thankfully, the Red Kitchen had a better start until they hit a roadblock as well. The frustration reached its peak when Frank Lear sent out an undercooked risotto to the pass. Meanwhile, the blue team managed to get into a good pace thanks to Santos' deft hands. But at the same time, Autumn Lewis slowed them down considerably. Needless to say, Chef Ramsey wasn't having the greatest of days. He was already annoyed by how both teams screwed up at the beginning of the service, but then Siobhan Allgood made an unforgivable mistake. If there's anything Chef Ramsey hates more than tasteless food, it's wasted food. Chef Ramsey despises when chefs throw away perfectly good ingredients, which is why Allgood made him furious. Her order of scallops turned out to be a mess. She tried to get away with it by saying that she thought the scallops were golden brown.
Look at this! What are you doing there?
I thought they looked golden brown, Chef.
But in truth, they looked charred. However, she continued to insist that some of them were fine and okay to be served. Well, I'm not sure why she thought it was okay to argue with Chef Ramsey, especially when she was totally in the wrong. To call her out, Chef Ramsey then mockingly asked her which of the scallops were good while pointing at each one of them. But that wasn't the end of it. Allgood was asking for more trouble. Chef Ramsey discovered an entire order of boiled scallops lying on the counter. At this point, all she had to do was shut up and cook. But then she started talking back, and it's obvious how that ended. Chef Ramsey got so mad that he shut her down in the most iconic way possible.
There are some on here that were fine, Chef.
So, where's the fine ones then?
They're right over in
Where
here.
are they? Where are they? You've got the nerve to tell me that some of them are fine. Wishy-washy, not even seasoned, and do you know what, more importantly? They're boiled. You donkey! Look at that! Get out!
As a punishment, Allgood wasn't only asked to leave the kitchen, but she was also forced to finish the entire plate of burnt scallops all by herself. No wasting food, remember? While there was so much drama happening in the kitchen, both teams somehow managed to pump out their entrees to the customers. However, one customer just wasn't happy. Instead of complaining to one of the servers or even to Jean-Philippe, the customer took the matter into his own hands and went straight to Chef Ramsey. Not a good move, man. I know the food might have sucked and you're not here to eat substandard food, but of all people you decide to walk up to, Chef Ramsey, really? Now that was a decision this customer was going to regret. Everyone knows that Chef Ramsey is always busy with orders that flood into the kitchen. And what's more, he sometimes has to deal with incompetent contestants that make it even harder for him. While he's trying his best to piece everything together, imagine how he'd feel receiving a complaint directly. Well, that was the only spark that was needed for him to explode. But here's exactly what happened. First, the customer walked over to the kitchen and placed his plate on the counter. He didn't even utter a single word. He just stood there with all of his mighty pride and waited for Chef Ramsey to notice him. But what he was really doing was waving a red flag at a bull. When Chef Ramsey asked him what his issue was, the customer arrogantly pointed towards the plate. I'm really not sure what this dude was thinking at this point. Is Chef Ramsey supposed to somehow guess what was wrong with this dish? Needless to say, this encounter didn't sit very well with Chef Ramsey, and this is how he reacted.
Oh no, this is fair. Service, please. Who is this man throwing food on the whole plate? What's the matter? Well, talk to me. Look at me. Look, excuse me. Hey. Don't come in here acting like jumped up like some little gym bunny. Now do me a favour. You yes? But
the customer failed to learn his lesson since he continued to hold his ground. The customer opened Pandora's box when he accused Chef Ramsey of poisoning him.
You trying to poison me? It's beef, idiot. Eat tartare.
Low-grade beef.
Don't ever shave, you knobhead.
Low-grade dog.
Let's go.
Oh no, he really shouldn't have done that. Chef Ramsey almost immediately slammed him down by calling him a fucking jerk.
You trying to poison me?
Poison you? What a
He then tried to imitate him and slammed him down once again by telling him that he looked like a fucking quail.
Standing there like some jerk. Stand strong, buddy. Push your arms out. You look like a quail.
But guess what? I do feel a little bad for the customer. I mean, he didn't get the quality food he was paying to get, and then he was humiliated right in front of everyone for sharing his displeasure over the meal. If only he knew the reaction he was gonna get. This should be a lesson to not approach Chef Ramsey directly. He would have been given a new plate of perfectly cooked food if he did it the right way. But, well, he chose to ruin Ramsay's night. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, Chef Ramsay was still frustrated with both teams. The famous chef still hadn't cooled off after the incident with the customer. What's more, the Red Kitchen's Noka Hendricks sent raw chicken to the pass.
All of you, come here. Pink chicken. Not just pink, but f***ing raw. Raw. It's not fair, you can't just do that.
What angered Chef Ramsay even further was that Hendricks knew that the chicken was raw and still sent it to the pass. I can't even fathom why she did that. And well, things weren't any better in the Blue Kitchen. Chef Ramsay was still frustrated with Lewis's slow pace. When Ed Baraglia tried to communicate with Lewis, there was no response from her. I mean, where was the teamwork? But then both the teams were sailing on rough waters. When Baraglia's duck came out raw, Chef Ramsay had enough with the blue team and kicked them out of the kitchen. However, the red team followed them right out the door as well when Clear served them salad without any dressing. Chef Ramsay was already irate, but it was the last straw when Clear sent her risotto to the pass raw.
Yes,
Touch
sir.
the risotto, taste the rice. Up and down, up and down, up and down. You, and him. Get out!
Well, that's it. Chef Ramsay was done for the day. A human can only tolerate so much torture in a single day. Anyway, while this customer tried to intimidate Chef Ramsay to get his attention, what this next customer did humiliated the hell out of him. On the 9th day of the 5th season, both the teams were asked to make their own menu. They featured beef carpaccio, steak, and ambitious potato garnishes. This included Ben Wolanka's pomme fondant and Carol Scott's gratin dauphinois. In the Red Kitchen, Giovanni Filippone managed to get the red team off to a good start with his beef carpaccio appetizers. While he was pretty confident, the appetizers were sent right back for lacking flavor. An annoyed Chef Ramsay lectured him about slicing the beef on a seasoned plate, which effortlessly helps in adding flavor to the beef. So you've got yourself a pro tip there, guys. Use a seasoned plate the next time you want to add flavor to your beef.
When you slice the beef carpaccio, slice it onto a seasoned plate.
Meanwhile, in the Blue Kitchen, Wolanka's beef came out very salty and Chef Ramsay made the team taste it. Wolanka admitted that he added more salt to make up for the over-reduced bisque.
Right, all three of you, come here. Taste time. Quick, dig in there, yeah? Quick, dig in there. Hey, salty soup.
Yes,
You're
chef.
just reheating it. You're clumsy.
Yes,
you
chef.
salted it.
Yes, chef.
You over-seasoned it.
Yes, I did, chef.
Chef Ramsay was irritated. But what pissed him off even more was the fact that Wolanka came up with excuses to cover up for his mistake. Meanwhile, the red diners were enjoying their food while the blue ones were left waiting. However, there was one red diner who was still unhappy. She previously asked for a refire, and when she received a fresh one, she believed that it was the same thing that was brought back.
Has absolutely zero flavor. It's like eating a piece of paper. It's the same goddamn thing. You plated the same thing.
This time, the customer didn't complain to Jean-Philippe like she had the first time around. She wanted to be heard, so she went straight to Chef Ramsay. The customer rudely called out to Chef Ramsay by saying, "Hey chef," and surprisingly, Chef Ramsay responded, and very politely at that. When she complained that the food was tasteless and bad, Chef Ramsay respectfully dismissed her after thanking her for the comment. But this lady wasn't content. She was probably expecting an apology or something. And so, to get Chef Ramsay's attention, she whistled at him. Hearing this, Chef Ramsay immediately chewed her out.
Yes, chef!
Yes, madam.
Totally flat. No flavor. Second time I've had it.
Okay, thank you.
Chef!
Right, don't whistle at me. I'm not your dog, yeah? You look more like a dog than I do.
The customer thankfully realized that she should just go back to her table. But Chef Ramsay wasn't done yet. When he sent out the refire, he asked the server to give it to the quote-unquote dog and asked him to keep watch so she didn't run away with the plate.
Give that to the dog, yes? Put a lead on it in case she runs off with the plate. Let's go.
At the very same time in the Blue Kitchen, Chef Ramsay was confused by the appearance of Wolanka's pomme fondant since they were usually cooked in butter and not blanched. A frustrated Ramsay told Wolanka that if that was a pomme fondant, then he was the Pope.
Where's the pomme fondant?
That's it, chef.
I thought pomme fondant was cooked in butter. Nicely done. If that's the pomme fondant, yeah, then I'm the Pope.
In the Red Kitchen, Chef Ramsay caught Scott pouring hot cream on the gratin in an attempt to save them, but Chef Ramsay wasn't having any of it. He furiously tossed the potatoes into the bin and chewed her out.
What is that on
I
there?
just poured more cream on it. I'm gonna put it back in.
Are you mad?
No, chef.
I wouldn't even serve that to a pig farm, madam. Forget it. You don't care, do you? Because if you did care, you wouldn't serve me that crap. This is supposed to be your exciting menu. You're going a little bit loopy, you stupid cow.
But when Robert Hesse and Wolanka continued to make mistakes, Chef Ramsay just shut both kitchens down. Now, while the whistling lady complained that the dishes were tasteless, this next customer from season 2 almost finished his entire plate, then realized that his risotto was missing the main ingredient. What he failed to realize was that for all complaints to be valid, you need to share them as soon as possible and to the right person. If not, nobody can help you from facing the consequences. On the first day of the season, both teams were eager to show Chef Ramsey their potential. After all, a chance to work under Chef Ramsey is a huge opportunity. However, as both teams received their first ticket, they started making mistakes. In the red kitchen, Polly Holiday started to struggle at the appetizer station, and in the blue kitchen, Tom Polly slowed everything down. When Holiday sent her first risotto to the pass, it came out overcooked, glued to the plate, and missing mushrooms. Chef Ramsey was dismayed, and he felt even worse knowing that she made such a risotto after receiving help.
And what's that?
That's your risotto
But
with butternut squash.
where's the mushrooms?
They're right in there.
And this is with help.
Yes.
This is with a team.
On the other hand, when Polly sent his order to the pass, the scallops came out raw, and Chef Ramsey couldn't understand what was happening with both teams. After an hour, the only thing the customers received was bread. How disappointing. But despite the delay, things didn't get any better in the red kitchen. When Holiday sent her refire to the pass, the risotto came out tasting bland. Chef Ramsey couldn't believe how disorganized the red team was.
Polly, I need an answer.
6 minutes.
2 minutes, Chef.
No, 6 minutes.
2 minutes.
Who's running the
Chef.
section?
I'm running it.
However, after Polly's refire was accepted, the blue team was finally back on track and the appetizers started leaving the kitchen. However, one of the customers wasn't happy with his risotto. The customer complained that his risotto didn't have enough pumpkin, but here's the catch. He had already eaten most of his risotto. Now, this is where I put my thinking cap on. If he disliked it so much, why did he eat it in the first place? And if he almost managed to finish it, then why complain about it towards the end? Well, he probably just wanted to eat some more free food. When Jean-Philippe called him out on this, the customer got into an argument with him.
There's no pumpkin.
There's like these little
There's no
bits.
pumpkin.
I don't want it.
You don't want it. Oh, you finished it almost.
There's no pumpkin in it.
Yeah.
This is like ordering risotto with no rice.
And things didn't end there. Just like all the other customers in our video today, this customer wanted to speak with Chef Ramsey directly. However, Chef Ramsey asked him to wait, but the customer rudely interrupted him and demanded an answer. That's when Ramsey logically said this.
Why is there no pumpkin in my risotto?
Right, can you get out of the way? Are you always gonna be that rude and interrupt when I'm trying to talk?
I just want more pumpkin. That's all I want.
Right, well I'll get you more pumpkin. I'll ram it right up your Would you like it whole or diced? Can we get security and get Knob back to the seat, please, yeah?
I just want pumpkin.
Meanwhile, the red team was struggling with their first order of appetizers, and it was already an hour and a half into the dinner service. When Holiday was on her fourth risotto attempt, Chef Ramsey had enough. He was fed up with all the food wastage. He then switched Holiday with Heather West. Chef Ramsey eventually named Holiday as the kitchen donkey, and food finally started leaving the kitchen thanks to West. But things started to get a little shaky for both teams when they moved on to their entrees. In the blue team, Gabe Gagliardi pissed Chef Ramsey off for being slow on the meat. And well, in the red team on the other hand, Virginia Dolbeck sent undercooked Wellingtons to the pass. With both kitchens struggling to send out food to the hungry diners, the customers started to get restless. The entire dining area reverberated with words like "I want my food." And seeing this, Chef Ramsey only had one thing left to do. Sadly, most of the customers had to go home hungry, but this next customer was bashed by several viewers for acting too entitled. This is one of the few cases where the food was great, but the customer thought otherwise. The 13th day of the 14th season was the first Black Jacket dinner service. On top of that, Hell's Kitchen hosted a special guest that night, and it was none other than Tatum O'Neal. At the beginning of the service, all the contestants were geared up to give it their best and prove their worth to Chef Ramsey. But that's not what happened. After receiving their first order, Michelle Tribble was quick in sending out her salads. But how she did it annoyed the hell out of Chef Ramsey. While serving the salads, she used plates instead of bowls. And well, at this stage of the competition, it's crucial to get everything right. Not just what you serve, but also how you serve it. Later, when the second order was called out, Nick Peters brought a stone-cold lobster tail. This pushed the entire team into starting all over again. When the special guest for the night walked through the doors, everyone was under pressure to give it their best. And finally, the VIP guest was ready with her order. But the very first order fell flat when Tribble walked up with a tuna that was cold in the center. Chef Ramsey immediately got her to start all over again. Obviously, the famous chef only wanted to serve the very best and he didn't want to leave any room for complaints. Needless to say, Chef Ramsay doesn't allow subpar food out of his kitchen. And while everyone was excited to receive O'Neill's feedback, once the food reached the VIP's table, O'Neill started nitpicking the dishes. Seeing this, Peters got really annoyed. O'Neill ended up calling most of the dishes mediocre and went into full-on judging mode.
Here we go, guys. Enjoy. Okay, I think this could have looked a little more of a circle.
1 hour into the service, the team moved on to their entrees. The team was slowed down due to Josh Travato's lack of communication. At one point, Travato was a mess after his station caught fire, but thanks to Megan Gill, the situation was under control. However, Chef Ramsay was dismayed to see Travato all frazzled up. Meanwhile, when it came to the entrees for the VIP table, the team was worried because of Travato, but he eventually was able to get the chicken out to the chef's table. After all the drama, when O'Neill received her Wellington, she started to complain about it being raw.
This is mediocre. I want to try that. It's raw. That is so lame.
Everyone was getting really annoyed with O'Neill, even Chef Ramsay. I think Chef Ramsay was even regretting the fact that he invited her. She talked so much smack that it pissed everyone off. Come on, the food couldn't have been that bad. O'Neill then asked for a halibut, but Peters was super annoyed. And well, they decided to serve her their award-winning halibut. Finally, O'Neill was happy with her dish. Well, that's one way to end a service. And you know what's the best way to end off this video? By dropping a massive like down below and subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Now that you've done that, let's see what the fans had to say about O'Neill's behavior. As expected, soon enough, fans pitched in support of the kitchen rather than the celebrity. One said, "Did any one of you notice how Chef Ramsay had to hold back how irritated he was when a perfectly cooked Wellington was sent back?" Another said, "Tatum is so lucky. Had she not been a VIP, Gordon would have ripped her apart." You won't believe how the customers reacted when Gordon took matters into his own hands.
So welcome. Good to meet you.
Well, that was a welcome surprise, but the others, not so much. Like this absolute piece of plastic here.
You look gorgeous. Welcome, and congratulations on the cookbook.
Thank you.
It looks amazing.
Dude, I was totally blinded by Kris Jenner's smile.
Wait, did he say cookbook? And you're cooking what? Gossip? I just rolled my eyes so hard I saw my brain. I mean, I'm sure that's what she was looking for while peeking into the kitchen.
Yes, chef.
One risotto, one pizza, one lamb.
Yes, chef. Walk with this.
Anyway, how about this next person right here?
Tour and TV personality Lisa Vanderpump and her husband will be seated in the red kitchen.
Okay, Puppy, sit down. They're going to be cooking some chicken for you, I think.
Yeah, on one side, there are people waiting for years to snag an opportunity to dine at Hell's Kitchen, and on the other side is this little one who made it without so much as having to reserve a seat.
Thank you. No, sit down. You've got to wait for your chicken. Okay, well, that looks nice.
As for the celebrity who showed up with this cute dog, well, she wasn't here to make things easy.
Gordon. Starving.
I know, I'm sorry, it's coming. Right,
It's Christmas.
Mrs. Vanderpump is starving. Let's go.
Such a snob. It's kind of off-putting to think about these rich folks sitting there watching people cook their food and poking fun at them the whole time. I mean, sure, there's this idea that because they're famous, we're supposed to bend over backward to please them. Seriously, what was the whole point of this?
So much stress and strain on.
I know. And also, I just kind of made it a little bit worse by telling him I'm starving. Hurry up.
But wait, because the next thing you know, the celeb was made to feel almighty when Nikki was made to apologize for her mistakes.
Okay, I'm feeling the stress. I need a drink.
I think an apology would be nice.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Wait, not to her team, but to the celebs.
I sincerely apologize, guys. I'll have that refired for you as soon as humanly possible, okay? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Nikki was on the verge of tears, or maybe she even cried a bit.
Nikki, you don't cry in front of anybody.
Oh.
You cry in the walk-in where nobody sees you.
No, sorry, Corey, not funny. Not funny at all. And finally, when the food hit the VIP table, I kinda remember Sade a lot. You know, the chef de la cuisine of the greatest dog food ever conceived. Yeah, although Sade was schooled for misunderstanding the theme of the challenge, you're about to see why her dish would have been fit for this episode.
Did you taste that?
I did. It's delicious, chef.
Very nice. Let's go. Servers, please.
Thank you. No, sit down. You've got to wait for your chicken. Okay.
Yeah, not sure who really got to taste the food in the end. Either way, it doesn't make them any more valuable or deserving of better service or food than anyone else in the dining room. But honestly, if it were me, I wouldn't really care if they were rich and famous or not.
How did that start?
Me too. I'm getting super hungry.
I know.
There's no food coming out. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, and this one right here, Well, of course,
Chef Ramsey's daughter's birthday.
Come on, we gotta go.
So he's the one for any little
Clock it in 30 seconds.
Antonio, I need the food, you idiot.
someone who chanced into celebrity for being Little Miss Ramsey, of course. But were they at least appreciative of the food? Well, let's see how that went.
So rolls.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let's go.
Well, after all that went down in the kitchen, the birthday girl had to get the worst dish, right?
If you look at that
Yeah, what
compared to
happened?
that, they're not
Wow,
the
that's
same.
much difference. Yours is flavorful.
Yeah.
Yours is pretty bland, right?
Yeah,
Let me
just
take
a
care
bit
of this.
sad. Thank you very much.
My apologies.
Now, why does this give me a bad feeling about all that customer drama being staged? And guess what? This wasn't the only time. Watch this next clip and tell me you don't feel the same.
Meanwhile, a special group of diners has arrived unannounced.
Good evening. How are you? Hi. Marino.
I'm the game, man.
So, you're telling me the game strolled in, and suddenly they had to scramble to put together a 10-top on what was supposed to be a fully booked night.
Move table 32 and 44 together. Let's go.
I'm starving, man.
Yeah, right, they just happened to have space for a 10-top in the middle of service, and somehow everything seems to suddenly fall into place.
Chef, I have no reservation. It's the game. Famous rapper. Can we fit them in?
Well, of course we can squeeze them in.
I got it.
Please.
And then, of course, there is the fact that the game just randomly decides to swing by Hell's Kitchen on a night when they're open. And as if that's not enough, Chef Ramsey instantly knows all about his recording background and acts super chill about it.
Blue team, come here, come here, come here. Entree, 3 chicken, 2 snapper.
Yes, chef.
Yeah, totally believable scenario, folks. Definitely not scripted at all. I mean, Chef Ramsey seems to know a hell lot about him.
Ladies, come here, quickly. Hip-hop, Grammy-nominated rapper.
And of course, the rapper found himself a die-hard fan among the contestants.
Yes, chef. The little giddy girl in me was like,
Anyway, now let's get into the hot topic of those celebs who weren't happy with the HK's service and food.
split it 4 ways.
We'll split it, yeah, 4 ways.
Starting with this celeb who has been labeled a diva, an entitled brat, an annoying bitch by viewers for her behavior on Hell's Kitchen. Any guesses? It's her.
That is so lame.
You see, Tatum O'Neal was overcompensating because she hadn't been in front of the camera for 50 long years. And for someone who is so used to the cameras, coming back to the spotlight must have been truly satisfying. And Tatum decided to make the most of it. So let me quickly run over what happened when Tatum decided to show the chefs that she was a diva. It was the final 6 dinner service of season 14.
The best 6 cooks in this competition. Tonight you gotta prove it.
While Nick communicated with Michelle on their first ticket, the latter slowly prepared her Caesar salads.
So, walking 2 salads, give me 30 seconds.
When she sent them up, they were in bowls instead of a plate, and Chef Ramsey was a bit disappointed.
Caesar salad in a bowl, not on a plate. You got the easiest job tonight. Wakey, wakey, hurry up.
Sorry, chef.
Michelle immediately bounced back and got her second attempt accepted, and appetizers were being pushed out. On their next ticket, Megan brought up her risotto, but unfortunately, Nick sent up a stone-cold lobster tail.
Look at me.
Yes, chef.
No, not yes. Touched it. It's stone cold.
Yes, chef.
It's not fucking lukewarm, it's
No,
stone
it's cold.
cold.
Yes, chef.
Come on.
As a result, Chef Ramsey was forced to make everyone start all over again.
Nick, seriously.
And that's when Tatum O'Neal arrived with her son.
For a treat.
Buonasera, good evening.
Now believe me, the pressure was on.
I'm gonna have the beef.
Yes.
And then the halibut.
For you, sir.
Chicken and then the bread pudding as well.
Fantastic.
Marino took her order, and on the other side, Megan and Nick were able to get their refire accepted. Eventually, their final order ticket was for the O'Neal's table.
Risotto, let's go.
Can I walk lobster tails? Yes, let's go. Go.
As you'll remember, Michelle was slow on the tuna, and when she sent it up, Chef Ramsey saw that the tuna was cold in the center.
Tuna, come here. Come on, touch it. It's stone cold.
Yes, chef. I'll get you another one right now.
Michelle got her refire accepted, and then Chef Ramsey had her and Megan serve their appetizers to the chef's table. Meanwhile, O'Neal started to nitpick at the dishes.
I'm gonna send my beef back. It's just not up to my standard. I'm gonna get the...
Not up to my standards? You're a child star from the 80s, and guess what? Nobody remembers your movies. And, well, if you found that harsh, so were your comments.
I think this could have looked a little more...
A little more of a circle.
Yeah.
Item Joe Schmo.
Oh, cut the crap. Nick was so on point here.
Tatum O'Neal said there, give me a break, lady. I'm late.
This is mediocre. I want to try it.
But she wasn't done with her bickering.
Yours is delicious.
Mine is good.
Yours is absolutely...
An hour into the hustle, the last 6 chefs were gearing up for entrees. T asked Josh how much longer, but he kept mum until Megan stepped in with an answer.
It's gonna be 4 minutes.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay.
4 minutes.
Yet, naturally, T couldn't help but feel miffed at Josh's stubbornness during service.
Josh does not hear anything other than the voices inside of his fucking head.
Oh my god, that's gotta hurt a ton. Then Josh accidentally sets his station on fire. Not great, right? While he's figuring out what to do, Megan steps in to cool things down and calls Josh out for being all over the place.
Oh my god, Josh.
You guys, put out the fire.
What's out?
No, Josh. Josh.
Turn the fucking flame off.
See, Megan didn't honestly belong in the competition. She was too good for it, way above everyone. And there were many others like her. Make sure to watch this video here and give your opinions. Meanwhile, Chef Ramsey too is a bit confused about what's happening with Josh.
What's with that guy?
I'm walking to the pass in 10 seconds.
Meanwhile, T's ready to send up her salmon dish, but Josh thought his lamb needs more time in the oven. Chef Ramsey wasn't happy when he saw T sending her salmon up while the lamb's still cooking.
Done. Yeah, Meg. Put that in.
Break the lamb. Hey, we've got no fucking lamb.
Yes, chef, coming right now.
And that's when Josh tried to explain that he didn't know T was sending it up, and she certainly didn't tell him.
And now it's 1.5.
I didn't know she was going, chef. I didn't hear
Didn't know she was going.
Chef,
You did not talk to me.
What?
Oh my God.
But T insisted she did give him a heads up earlier, and well, she wasn't wrong.
I'm walking to the pass in 10 seconds. Heard. You knew I was walking to the pass.
Talk about getting caught in 4K. T called out Josh for spacing out a mere 5 minutes ago.
From 4 minutes. You zoned the fuck out for 4 minutes? How much of service do you actually remember?
Move, Josh.
Fair question, I say. But hey, despite that, Josh somehow managed to get his lamb dish accepted. Next up, for the final 6, a ticket for the chef's table. But instead of just rolling with it, Josh decided to pump himself up with a little woo. Interesting. Well, Chef Ramsey couldn't help but poke fun at him for that, and then told him to pull himself together.
Hey.
Chef, I'm listening, chef. Woo! I'm burning myself.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Woo! Just, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, Chef Ramsey's imitation was even funnier. Don't at me. Anyway, the next thing you know, Josh sent up some pink chicken and claimed he needed 8 more minutes on the refire.
Here, hang on, guys.
Who just said 8 minutes?
But Chef Ramsey quickly set him straight. As the clock ticked on, Nick accused Josh of losing his cool, but Josh somehow managed to get the chicken out to the chef's table. What was perfect according to Ramsey's standard wasn't apparently for Miss O'Neill. Yeah, she wasn't too impressed with her Wellington.
So lame. Does anybody else want my beef?
I can't eat it that rare.
Me neither. It's like moving. It's like I hear the mooing. I hear.
She asked Marino to swap it out for halibut, earning herself the label of a diva from Nick.
Give me a break, lady. I mean, honestly.
Chef's table?
Right on. Now, I have a hunch that oh my god was not for the meat, but the shit he had to deal with concerning the VIP. What do you think? Anyway, T wasn't about to let that bring her down. She vowed to deliver some stellar fish.
With some Oscar award-winning halibut. You ready?
And what do you know, O'Neill was all smiles with her replacement dish.
You ready? Chef, up hand, please.
Let's try this again. I hope win on this one. So good.
Finally. As service neared its end, Josh was determined to finish strong. He got his lamb dish approved, and before you knew it, service was done. Chef Ramsey even called it a great night.
Black jackets. Great job.
Admit it, it was pretty funny seeing Chef Ramsey trying to keep his cool when that perfectly cooked Wellington got sent back.
Wellington, can she has a halibut well done, please?
Potato, please. Let's go.
And did you catch that? He didn't even go off on them about the meat being undercooked. Wondering why? He's not angry at all because he knows. I can't help but feel like the Wellington was actually okay. Wait till you see what this celebrity did in the 7th service of season 6.
Tonight, because I invited executive chefs from both my restaurants, 2 out of New York and 2 out of West Hollywood.
So, in this episode, Hell's Kitchen hosted executive chef Carl Burtka and pastry chef Haru Takakishi in the Blue Kitchen, and head chef Stuart Collins and chef de cuisine Josh Emmett in the Red Kitchen.
They're like right on top of us, so I think he's gonna be nailing us to the wall tonight.
Dave made a promise to Burtka and Takakishi that he'd make sure they had an awesome night, and he got right to work on their risottos.
To the chef table.
2 risotto.
Thank you.
Do we order risotto? No. Do we get any choices?
Over in the Red Kitchen, Chef Ramsey told Ariel that the chef's table had been waiting for 17 minutes without any introduction. Ariel quickly greeted Collins and Emmett and took their order.
Chef Ramsey yelled at me, was like, oh shit. Ariel, nice to meet you. Sorry, my hands are a little wet. Nice to meet you. Appetizers today.
Meanwhile, in the blue kitchen, Dave, despite struggling a lot with his arm, got his risottos approved.
Risotto.
Thank you, chef.
Good start, Dave. Good start.
And the chefs at the table seemed to really enjoy their dishes.
Risotto for you to try right now.
Not bad, huh? Thanks, Dave.
It felt great to get compliments from such highly esteemed chefs.
Very nice.
Ariel brought out the appetizers for the chef's table, but they weren't too impressed. They mentioned to her that the scallops were a bit overcooked and lacking seasoning.
Harsh on the old sear on the scallops, maybe just slightly round the end, a little bit burnt.
I didn't check it. I should have checked it.
More salt, fucking more salt.
More salt, more salt.
Simple things are always the hardest to get right, I suppose.
They just weren't seasoned enough.
See, they were so nice and polite about it. There's absolutely no reason to pull a O'Neill. She was so extra, probably because that's the longest screen time she got in decades. But do you know what happens when a whole bunch of celebs show up at the same time? Chaos. So, I'm talking about the 10th service of season 18, when Cameron Manheim and her son Milo, Chad Lowe, Sabrina Soto, Dylan Bruno, Kevin Zegers, and Parker Young were in attendance.
Fancy restaurant. Look at this.
Enjoy.
Yeah, talk about a star-studded dining area. But hey, I won't blame you if you don't recognize most of the names. So you can chill out and nope, you don't live under a rock. Anyway, when it came to the courses, Mia and Mato took charge of the pan-seared scallops over polenta, and Brett and Ariel were at the helm for the branzino with fennel puree. Meanwhile, Trev and Kane led the truffle carbonara, and Jose and Heather tackled the veal saltimbocca. Plus, both teams had their hands full with whipping up tiramisu soufflés topped with gelato. Okay, so let's skip to the fourth course, which is where all the drama began. So, Jose and Heather were a bit all over the place with their timing for the veal. But eventually, they got on the same page and decided to give it a solid 8 minutes before sending it out to the pass.
Let's go. 8 minutes.
Fire. 2 minutes. Fire. Fire.
So, even though both teams managed to get their dishes out almost at the same time. Over on the other side, some folks at the red table found out their veal was still raw.
Yours is raw.
Marino had to send back 2 plates, which left everyone pretty disappointed. While Mato took some responsibility along with Trev, Chef Ramsey was pretty ticked off when Jose confessed that he hadn't checked the veal before putting it on the plate. And then, to make matters worse, 3 more plates got sent back to the red kitchen.
No.
Yes. Unfortunately. See, Trev wasn't holding back, he straight up blamed Jose for dropping the ball.
That you peeled off a radioactive monster's back.
Yeah, seen something similar on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Marino came back with more plates.
Oh, there's more coming back.
No.
And the next thing you know, he dropped the bombshell on Chef Ramsey.
Oh my God.
You heard it right, they needed 6 refires. Chef Ramsey was fuming and told the guys to start prepping the desserts while he handled the refires himself.
You, get on with the souffle.
Chef.
Yeah, it was that bad. Trev didn't hold back, laying into Jose for letting the team down.
Not Mato, not Brett. And you didn't check one thing. You just screwed us, bro.
I can't believe it.
While Jose believed that.
Let me down, for sure.
You, get on with the souffle.
Chef.
Whose side are you on? I mean, he failed to catch the raw veal, so it's pretty much on him, not the team, right? Since they were a course behind, the guys had to serve up the refires before getting to the desserts, while the women managed to get their soufflés out right on schedule. Of course the men lost that charity night. Guess who went home that night? Anyway, up next is a service from season 12, which had the shittiest leadership we've ever seen on the show. And to make things worse, they got some VIPs in the house. I'm talking about the 6th service from season 12, where Anton and Melanie were in charge of their respective kitchens, while the women served Elizabeth Perkins.
I love her.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm crazy excited.
The men served Holly Marie Combs.
About damn time. We have some hot chick in the kitchen.
Oh, she's very hot. Smoking.
Okay, let's go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, very informative descriptions. I've learned so much here. Anyway, as the VIPs made their grand entrance and settled in at their chef tables, things started heating up in both kitchens.
It's hot, and it's gonna get hotter, trust me.
As soon as your appetizers get in, I'm gonna make sure that they're perfect.
Over in the blue kitchen, the men got Combs' order. Now, Chris thought he had the scallops under control as Anton took them and the risotto to the pass. But the scallops ended up overcooked.
Just touch them. Just touch them. They're fucking overcooked.
However, Anton pointed the finger at Chris for making him look bad.
Bad, because you're not doing your job.
Meanwhile, Chris vowed not to repeat the mistake.
Damn, trust me.
You cannot make this mistake again.
Back in the red kitchen, the women received Perkins' order.
Exciting.
Lobster's ready when you are. What?
Of course it is, when you're a spectator. But Beth ended up serving an overcooked lobster tail, much to Ramsay's disappointment.
Chewy, overcooked.
He let Melanie know that the quality had taken a nosedive because of the pressure.
My God, the standards dip.
But that's when Rochelle, aware of Beth's struggle, blamed Melanie's poor leadership.
But I blame Melanie because as the captain, I mean, you're kind of accountable for the team.
Come on.
She's right, and Chef Ramsey too accused her of not taking charge.
Fucking neutral. Let's go.
Refire right now, please.
An hour into the service, Anton approached Chris about the scallops, suggesting they be seared on one side again. Chris brushed him off, telling him to back off because he knew what he was doing.
Let me put the scallops on. I know what is going on.
But when Chef Ramsey briefly stepped away from the blue kitchen, Anton decided to take matters into his own hands and serve the dishes for Combs himself, skipping Ramsey's approval.
Enjoy. I will be back in a couple minutes. Check on you.
Unfortunately, it turned out the scallops were undercooked.
Everything well?
The scallops may be a little undercooked.
If I were Anton, I'd be pissing my pants. Why did you think it was a good idea to not wait for Chef Ramsey's approval? I swear that guy was in way over in his head. Jean-Philippe informed Chef Ramsey about the raw scallops.
Chef was gonna fucking flip a lid throwing plates at me.
Well, I think he did. But guess what? Sous Chef James claimed he never saw them on the pass.
No.
Oh, fuck. Here we go. I'm getting chewed out right now.
Fuck, here we go.
Well, so what were you expecting? Before anyone could bat an eyelid, Chef Ramsey exploded. Now, let's come back to where I left off. Megan's 21st birthday. While we saw what happened in the dining area, let's now take a look at what went down in the kitchen. So, the red team kicked off their first order, with Josie determined to show she'd learned from her past mistakes on appetizers.
Dinner service should always be perfect, but when it comes to Chef Ramsey's family, it better be flawless today.
She was dead set on nailing it for Megan, and thankfully, her flatbreads passed the test.
Nicely cooked, yes? Go, please.
But don't start cheering just yet. Over in the blue kitchen, Antonio took charge of the appetizers.
You only have a 21st birthday once in a lifetime. If we, in any way, shape, or form, this up, I don't think I'd ever forgive myself.
But wouldn't you know it, he ended up sending out an undercooked carbonara. Ramsey wasted no time pulling Antonio and Victoria over to the pass to check it out.
Cooked. Come on, guys. Not tonight. It's not cooked properly. Chef, I don't know why you're rushing this now. Come on, guys.
Trenton chimed in, reminding Antonio that they had to get everything spot on.
Antonio, holy we're cooking for Megan Ramsey. This has got to be perfect.
Luckily, Antonio managed to redeem himself with a refire.
Go, please. Good.
Carbonara, prego.
They look so nervous in there.
Finally, both teams managed to split Megan's table in half. The red kitchen got all their appetizers up to the pass smoothly, but Chef Ramsey noticed the blue team was missing one.
Else is ready. I've got 11 apps ready. I need the carbonara.
You got it, Antonio.
Yeah, Chef, 30 seconds.
There's no food coming out. Come on, let's go.
He pushed Antonio to hustle and get it ready in 30 seconds, enlisting Victoria's help. Luckily, they pulled it off just in time, and Megan's table got their dishes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Lobster rolls.
Perfect. Thank you.
With the appetizers out of the way, Chef Ramsey called out the first entree order for the red team. But things got a bit tense when Sam flustered up the order.
Junior strip, two strip, two shrimp, walking in 4.5.
Now, this made Kia lose confidence in them, all the while citing previous fuck-ups.
I am so nervous about Peyton and Sam being on meat.
Those are done? Well, they need a little bit harder sear.
It's only the second dinner service that we've had together, and during last dinner service, they both sucked.
Her caution was justified. Sam sent out the New York strip loin, but unfortunately, one of them turned out rare after Chef Ramsey sliced into it.
I need a medium rare.
Yes, chef.
Me, I got one medium rare, one rare. Come on, back in the pan. Hurry up.
Yes, chef.
First table, guys.
Sam and Peyton served up their refire, but it still had raw fat on the meat.
When there's white fat there, again, it's undercooked. It's raw white fat. Come on, back in the pan.
Josie wasn't having it and stepped in to check the steaks herself, making sure they got it right on the third attempt.
This is a little rare, so that needs to be basted.
So the next order was Megan's 12 top. Sam asked for 7 minutes, but Chef Ramsey gave them a break.
8 minutes.
8 minutes, chef.
8 minutes the window. Let's go.
Peyton was feeling pretty confident about the pad thai.
I've cooked some noodle dishes before.
I call that misplaced confidence. Eventually, both teams managed to get their entrees up to the pass, and Megan's table got their order.
I have these noodles for you.
Thank you.
But here's where things went sideways. Megan found her noodles bland compared to earlier, and her friend agreed.
Yours isn't good?
When I tried it earlier, it was nothing.
And that's when Marino stepped in to inquire.
That's terrible.
It was inconsistent as hell, so he took Megan's dish back to the red kitchen.
Yours is pretty bland, right?
Yeah,
Let me take care of this.
Thank you very much.
My apologies.
And quite expectedly, Chef Ramsey was fuming.
Chef, red team, this is Megan's. They're really bland.
He called the red team down and asked them to taste the pad thai.
Megan says that didn't taste anything like the one they shared this morning. Okay, nothing at all.
Who seasoned that?
And all of them couldn't help but agree that it was bland. But who was responsible? Chef Ramsey demanded to know who was asked with the seasoning, but all he received in return was this.
Who seasoned the dish? Oh, come on!
After a moment of silence, Peyton owned up to cooking the dish. And of course, his team was disappointed in him.
Like, is your brain noodles now? Like...
And just to add insult to injury, Marino revealed that the blue team's pad thai was packed with flavor.
The one in the blue, they say they're fun, so go back to your drawing boards.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, he had to share that feedback, didn't he? But despite all their efforts, the red team couldn't redeem themselves that night.
Are you serious? That is a team effort screw-up at the highest order.
And after all the screw-ups, they were finally given the VIP treatment they deserved, if you know what I mean.
Come up with 3 nominees because I'm cutting the fat quickly. All of you, get out! Out!
So, did I miss any of your favorite celebrities in this video? What other VIP guests threw tantrums on the show or didn't like the food? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to visit my social media pages, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications if you haven't already. And if you thought this video was crazy, wait till you see my next video right here, it's even better.